She snapped at me so loudly that the entire restaurant went silent. "Don't touch me. You look ridiculous." Her words hit harder than any slap could have. My hand froze mid-air, hovering just inches from her arm. I hadn't even been trying to be affectionate, just guiding her back to her seat after the waiter bumped into our table. But the way she said it, sharp and disgusted, made it clear this wasn't about that moment. This was something deeper. Something broken. People stared. A couple at the next table pretended not to listen while clearly hanging on every word. My wife didn't seem to care. She sat back in her chair, chin lifted, eyes cold, as if she had just put a child in his place. I slowly pulled my hand back and stood up. For a second, she looked confused, like she expected me to apologize, to shrink, to sit back down and pretend nothing happened. That's what I usually did. That's what I'd trained myself to do over the years: keep the peace, swallow the disrespect, tell myself it would get better. But something inside me finally refused. "I'm going home," I said quietly. She laughed, actually laughed. "You're being dramatic." "Sit down." I didn't argue. I didn't raise my voice. I placed my napkin on the table, nodded once to the stunned waiter, and walked out. The drive home felt surreal. The city lights blurred past as memories replayed in my head, little moments I'd ignored, excused, forgiven too easily. The way she'd started criticizing my clothes, my job, the way I talked, the late nights with coworkers, the way her phone was always face down, the way intimacy turned into obligation, then into annoyance. By the time I reached the house, my hands were steady. Calm had replaced shock. I didn't pack everything. Just the essentials, documents, clothes, my laptop, things that mattered. I left the rest exactly where it was. Let the house look lived in, let it look abandoned. I went to my brother's place and slept on his couch. For the first time in months, I slept deeply. The next morning, my phone exploded with messages. "Where did you go?" "Stop acting like a victim. You embarrassed me." Not once did she ask if I was okay. I replied with one sentence: "We need to talk." With "allow you're present," that's when the tone changed. She came home early that afternoon. I was there, sitting at the kitchen table, calm, composed. She looked irritated more than worried, like this was an inconvenience she hadn't planned for. "You're seriously doing this?" she said, over one comment. "It wasn't one comment," I replied. "It was years of them." She rolled her eyes. "You're too sensitive." "You always have been." I slid my phone across the table. Screenshots lit up the screen messages between her and someone saved as J. Hotel confirmations, late-night calls. Things I discovered months earlier and kept to myself while I decided whether I was crazy or just in denial. Her face went pale. "You went through my phone?" she snapped. "That's what you're upset about?" I asked. Silence followed. Then anger, then tears, then excuses. A full rotation of emotions, none of them landing on accountability. "It didn't mean anything," she said finally. "He just made me feel appreciated." I nodded. "And humiliating me made you feel powerful." She didn't answer. The divorce process was quiet, faster than she expected. The prenup she'd insisted on years ago because she was protecting herself worked against her. The house was mine. The savings were split fairly, no dramatic courtroom scenes. Just paperwork and consequences. Friends reached out, some supported me. Others suggested I should have tried harder, been more patient, been more understanding. Funny how people always say that to the person who stayed too long, never to the one who pushed too far. Months passed. I changed my routine, started going to the gym again. Took a job offer I'd turned down years earlier because she didn't. Want to move, traveled, laughed more than I had in a long time. One evening I ran into her at a grocery store. She looked tired, smaller. The confidence that once overflowed from her was gone. She tried to smile. "You look good, thank you," I said. We stood there awkwardly for a moment. Then she spoke, softer than I'd ever heard her. "I didn't think you'd actually leave." I met her eyes. "Neither did I until you reminded me who I'd become." I walked away before she could respond. That night, as I sat alone in my apartment, I thought back to the restaurant, to the laughter,